Yeah, apparently. Alright, slide.
I just stepped in your gum. Alright, shalom, shalom. Alright, macam apa niya hapon, ha? Yahawa, Ba'ashem, Yahusha, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Alright, I want to give double honors, spouse the elders of Great Millstone, Shalom, to you sincere brothers out there teaching truth with sincerity. Alright, for the Hebrew Israelites, back out here once again, to prophesy the downfall of Esau's kingdom, and to bring remembrance to the children of Israel, which consists of so-called black, Latinos, and Native Americans. Alright, to bring them back to our power. Alright, so let me actually correct the beginning, because right now it's the Sabbath, so Shabbat Shalom. Alright, so continuing, it says, like I said, so we're the Hebrew Israelites, you know, to bring our people back into remembrance and to prophesy the downfall of Esau's kingdom, all right, and to bring our people back to Yahweh, all right, to our Lord Yahawashi, to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Yahweh means He is, Ba'ashem means in the name, Yahawashi means He saves or He delivers, all right. Lord willing that this camp session is edifying unto you Akim out there, or exhorting, you know. And apparently today is I didn't know, because you know we don't keep track of it, but apparently today is a Memorial Day quote, and the only thing that popped in my head is like, dang straight, America's going to be a memorial, and what was like in my head was Wisdom of Solomon. So I don't want to we're going to roll in the spirit with basically the desolation of Esau, and basically the rising up of Jacob, which are the Israelites, which consists of so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. All right. So we're gonna start it off, you know, through the spirit with Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10, and we're just going to read there, yeah, and just roll in the spirit ultimately. So Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10, verse 1, it says, "She preserved the firstborn father of the world that was created alone, and brought him out of his fall." And this is talking about wisdom. That wisdom preserves righteous men from the said perils that were foretold to come. All right, and through wisdom, those men receive salvations, and not just those men, but the people that were basically collaborated with that man or with that man, which I mean his family. All right, because when those times start coming, you know, the family only has, you know, that man to latch on to receive salvation. All right, because we all know that Noah and his family survived that flood. All right, so continuing, it says, and gave him power to rule all things. But when the unrighteous went away from her, in his anger he perished. Also in the fury wherewith he murdered his brother. So this is talking about Cain and Abel. All right, Cain. It says, but when the unrighteous went away from her, the unrighteous sought no profit in wisdom, just as Esau sought no profit in the promise. All right, you need wisdom to actually see the future, to basically to foresee the future of that promise. All right, but just as Cain, he didn't offer up a burnt sacrifice or a burnt offering unto Yahweh. He offered up his fruits, because he was basically a husbandman, which is a farmer. All right, it says, but when the unrighteous went away from her, in his anger he perishes also in the fury with what he murdered his brother. And not just that, there were oral laws established from Adam on down. So Cain knew that the Heavenly Father, he liked burnt offerings, but he offered up a portion of his labors rather than asking Abel, which was which, if I remember correctly, he was a shepherd. He didn't ask Abel for a sacrifice. But continuing, it says, and with that anger, since the Heavenly Father preferred Abel over Cain, he killed his brother, just like Esau wants to kill Jacob. So let me continue. It says, for whose cause the earth being drowned with the flood, wisdom again preserved it, and directed the course of the righteous in a piece of wood of small value. And wood is a small value. Wood is smaller than stone, and when it comes to value, all right. And that wood, it kind of represents our faith at the same time, because our faith to this world is a small thing. Is something worthless, something which is madness, because it's something they cannot see. And just as Noah's Ark, which was made out of wood, preserved him from the said flood, our faith, which is a spiritual ark, is something that is worthless to this world as well. That's why we even call it a spiritual ark, because through our faith, we are going to be saved. All right. So continuing, it says, moreover, the nations and their wicked conspiracy being confounded, she found out the righteous and preserved him blameless unto Yahweh, and kept him strong against his tender compassion toward his son. And Noah was basically seen as righteous amongst everybody else in that world. All right. So Noah was seen righteous because you know, man, stupid. Noah was seen righteous because he didn't want to confound. He didn't want to be what's the word? Confined with the world. He wanted to be entangled with the world. So continuing, it says, when the ungodly perished, she delivered the righteous man who fled from the fire, which fell upon the 5 cities, which is Sodom and Gomorrah, of whose wickedness even to this day the wasteland that smoketh is a testimony, and the plants bearing fruit that never came to ripeness, and a standing pillar of salt is a monument of an unbelieving soul. You want to get that out? Sodom and Gomorrah was an example of things to come. Paraphrasing. So this is what I'm going to. This is basically what the Spirit brought me to in you know, when hearing that it was quote the Memorial Day today. This place is going to be a memorial. All right. This place, which is America, Babylon the Great, is going to be the greatest memorial on the face of the earth on how not to rule a kingdom. All right.
You made a message. Read that last verse.
All right. It says, when the ungodly perished, she delivered the righteous man who fled from the fire, which fell upon the 5 cities, of whose wickedness even to this day the wasteland that smoketh is a testimony, and the plants bearing fruit that never came to ripeness, and a standing pillar of salt is a monument of an unbelieving soul.
Now we're talking about the plants in there. Nothing grows in there. Nothing really. Everything's dead.
Yeah. And,
you know,
since it was cities, you know that they have farmlands and stuff like that to supply that. And that, not just that, that is also referring to children, babies, you know, that never reached of age, but they were still cast into judgment with everyone else.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
So you got that at I got it.
Is it June 1?
It's June 1, I think. And 7.
You want to read it?
No. He got another one.
You got another
Yeah, you should read it.
All right. It's June 1. June chapter 1, verse 7. Let me spell
It says 7.
it. All right, Jude chapter 1 verse 7. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, and set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire.
Yeah, so it was set for an example of unto. There was actually another precept, if I remember correctly, but it's just spelled different because it's in the New Testament. It's one in the New Testament saying the same thing, that Sodom and Gomorrah is set for an example basically onto Babylon the Great, right?
It was one that said memorial.
Yeah, this is the one I got. So it says, of whose wickedness even to this day, the wasteland that smoketh is a testimony, and the plants bearing fruit that never came to ripeness. A standing pillar of salt is a monument of an unbelieving soul. For regarding not wisdom, they got not only this hurt, that they knew not the things which were good, but also left behind to the world a memorial of their foolishness, so that the things wherein they offended could not so much be as hid. And so basically, people barely remember what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah over these years. That's why they're continuing the acts again of sodomy, of all of this, you know, centuries, yes. And America is going to be set as that great memorial, because Sodom and Gomorrah was nothing but a mere example on an unbelieving soul. I think that there was something like that in the New Testament. I just can't remember how it's phrased, you know, and yeah. So like those people got turned into pillars of salt because it was a sudden destruction, and you know that lie, he most likely prophesied before all of that happened, because destruction doesn't come without a prophet first. I was going to say before, so that people can turn from their ways. But those, I think that's in Hebrews. Just lie. I think it's just lie. I think it's in the same. Yo, where's the? This is 2 Peter 2. Yeah, 2 Peter 2. 2 Peter. No. With just lot? Yeah, just lot. It delivered just lot. Vexed with filthy compensation. It says, turn the sea. Oh, wait. 2 and what? 2 Peter 2 and 6. Yeah? Alright, man. Since you found it, you read it. Start at start at 4. No. Yeah, they just start at 6 because 4 is talking about that line of Adam, which are those angels that were chained to quote darkness. I don't know where the hell these people get the other thing from. Start at 6, right? Yeah. Right.
This is 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 6. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after shall live ungodly.
Continue.
It says, and delivered just Lot, vexed with filthy conversation of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them, and seeing and hearing, vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deed.
Yeah. So basically, all their acts and in their talking and everything was vulgar and disgusting, man. And that was righteous. It was seen righteous onto Lot by Yahweh, and he delivered Lot from Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, and those people that died in Sodom and Gomorrah, they're set as examples for people who want to go off and do the same thing that Sodom and Gomorrah did. All right, but since it was been centuries ago, people are doing it again without the remembrance of Sodom and Gomorrah, because now they believe that the scripture is nothing but a folk tale, nothing but a fairy tale. But when this kingdom starts going down, this place is going to be the next Sodom and Gomorrah, and it's going to be greater. All right, and it's going to be the remembrance of how this kingdom is, it was, and how the people were here, and how their destruction came about, will be remembered unto all generations forever. All right, and all these people who are going to be nothing but ash here. They're gonna, just looking at America will be a memorial. To a memorial is something that you look at that will bring you into remembrance. All right. So America's going to be that great memorial for how not to rule a kingdom. So let me continue with this. Yo, Shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it again here. So it says, for not regarding wisdom, they got not only this hurt, that they knew not the things which were good, but also left behind to the world a memorial of their foolishness, so that in the things wherein they offended, they could not so much as be hid. But wisdom delivered from pain those that attend upon her. So that was pretty much it there. Yeah, that was pretty much it there.
These are the preachers.
Damn. Oh, yeah, get that in Corinthians. That's a good one.
This KDC 3, 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 6. Now these things were our examples, to the intent we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted.
Yeah, that's wisdom preserving us, keeping us away from the filthy conversation of the wicked, and their actions. That's wisdom preserving us. And one of the things that wisdom has is circumspect, being circumspect. Being wary of your ways. You don't want to walk in a way that'll endanger your life. And we understand that just as it says in Hebrews chapter 11. It talks about how Moses, he chose to suffer with his people than to was it? Yeah, let me get that in.
Another way to say filthy conversation is like modern term. It's like talk dirty.
Yeah,
And that's
vulgar,
like,
it's like vulgar. It's
like-
just, it's disgusting.
Vulgar.
Because nobody likes, just like what it says in Ecclesiastes, if I remember correctly, a man that is like filthy in his speech, you want to refrain from that person. It's like, bro, like this is all he talks about. But continuing, it says, not continuing, but like, this is Hebrews chapter 11, verse 23. It says, by faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents, because they saw that he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of Yahweh than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. And Moses understood it was nothing but a season. You know, he understood it was just a season that these people were going to enjoy their sin. Because there was also a scripture, if I remember correctly, it says the days of the wicked are short. I can't remember exactly how it's phrased. Oh, about a moment, yeah, something like that.
So many different types of signs.
I know, right? I think he's just turning it on and off very quickly.
That was going considerably faster than the others.
You got another one that's KDC 3, 1 Corinthians 10 and 11. Now all these things happen to them for examples, and they are written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the world are come.
Yo, somebody want to get that word admonition? Or instantly near is fine. It is.
Sounds like noticia. Sounds like news.
Noticia. Admonition and exhortation. You got exhortation. Exhortation to basically urge someone to do something. That's basically what exhortation is. So, mild rebuke or warning. Because that was a warning. That was straight up a warning.
Really, that example.
Urgent. That's why we say, in edification or exhortation, to urge brothers not to do what these people out here do, because we understand through the Spirit that the pleasures of sin are but for a season.
Right.
Just like Moses. That's how you know it's like it. That's how you know it's wisdom that's dealing with us through the Hakwadash.
Another way to put it, it's like saying, like you see this? That can happen to you if you don't get right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
no,
Exactly.
pretty much.
That's why
You know?
that the people that inside of Gomorrah, they're set as examples. They're set as examples. So you look at that, you're like, oh shit, I don't want to be turned into a pile of salt. You know what I'm saying?
I said, I know we're on the soul of the earth, but that would be ridiculous for us.
And you know what's really weird about Esau? He likes to experiment with that. He likes to find out different ways of dying. And that's how you know that wisdom isn't with them. Wisdom isn't with them because they're not. What's the word? They're not refraining away from death.
So by nature,
they're embracing it.
By nature, they don't really seek life. By nature, they actually seek death because they're meant to be destroyed anyway.
Yeah, that's why this place is considered the valley of death.
Shadow of death.
Was it? Yeah, the shadow. Was it?
The valley of the shadow of death.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is why this place is considered that. Not just because Israel is dead here. This place is a giant cemetery.
That's what it is.
It's just a giant cemetery. All these buildings, this concrete jungle is nothing but tombstones. You know?
And Jake walking around, they're pretty much zombies because they're considered the dead anyways. You know?
Yeah, they're considered the dead. They're
in the
dead as a
spirit.
people. You know? And people, and the fact that they have a Memorial Day, that's an insult. That's a spit in our face. You know? Not because it's not just the remembering the soldiers and stuff like that. They want to remember their presidents and all of that. They want to remember how America was, how great it is. You know?
Yeah, even Jake, like talking about like God bless America, and they forget they came over here in chains.
They came over here and changed, and you build up these walls, you build up these buildings,
And
you know,
then-
and you want to celebrate it.
And then Esau wants
You
you to
didn't
forget.
even have a choice on it. You didn't get paid no nothing. You were slaves.
I said, and Esau wants you to forget all about the slaves that died. But remember our presidents.
Yeah, woe unto him that buildeth the city with blood.
We're basically walking
Roughly
on
paraphrasing.
graveyards. We're walking
100%.
on graves. You know, the parks. Most of the parks here built in here, they're actually towns. They were actually towns. And you got
Yeah,
a lot
like
of
Central Park.
A lot of our people are buried there.
Central
You know?
Park was a.
Central Park was.
I forgot what the name was, but it was a town. It was a town with Jake a lot of Jake in it.
And a lot of lakes built in Babylon. A lot of lakes all the way to the south. A lot of them were towns that Jake used to dwell in.
And yeah, you get a precept, right?
Yeah, so give me a second.
All right.
This is pretty much like the nether realm.
And these people don't think the latter end of it. They don't think the latter end of basically celebrating and you know coinciding with the people of this world.
I got that ready for me. Yes. Can you see 3 Romans 15:4? For whosoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, and we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
And this is
basically what it's being talked about right now. You know?
Because not just the things that were written in the scriptures were for our learning, but also things that happened to these people. You know, the historical things like Sodom and Gomorrah and all these other nations that were taken down by Yahawashi, understanding that coinciding and cooperating with these other nations and stuff like that would lead to our downfall.
God.
Because that's all Jake wants to do. You know, they wanna be with the heathen. You know, but the heathen, all they got in their head is to destroy Israel. You still got that precept?
So,
Yeah.
Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, that which was an example. One of the greatest examples back then, well, almost at the beginning, was the flood. You know, and
Yeah,
right
the
now,
flood, yeah.
we're in the days of Noah again. You know, is the flood going to be a little different?
Just like what Yahawashi said. You know, just like the day, just as the days of Noah were, so shall the day of the Son of Man be. Yeah, you.
This is 2 Timothy 3 verse 1. This know also that in the last days peerless times shall come. From men.
Perilous. It's like dangerous.
The whole time it was peerless.
It's perilous.
This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy,
All of this is against Yahawashi Yahawashi. Continue.
without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady,
Heady. It's like
heady.
They do things without thinking. That's how a lot of these, you know, Jakes end up in prison. Continue.
Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of Yahweh, having a form of...
Start at the beginning again. We're gonna go through them one by one.
2 Timothy 3 verse 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters.
Slack you, wait.
Charging sound. Ah, yeah.
I'm
It's the charging stopped because it's getting heated up.
just angle the camera a little bit right here.
Yo,
Shut
you
up.
you replay you swap.
Just angle the camera. You know, tree shadow.
Angle the camera. What?
Move it more to the shadow.
Oh yeah. Move your drinks, yo. Yeah, we're gonna have to move with the shadow. Oh man. Yo, that's
Just give it about 2 seconds and plug it right back in. 5 seconds. Blow on tonic cooler light.
oh, it's a valley of dry bones. Yeah, the water. That's also what King David says. Valley of the shadow of death, or something like that. Yeah, it's just not charging because it's heated up. I say it's starting now.
Still not charging?
No, it's starting now.
All right.
Oh yeah. Yo, you got to read your precept.
Okay, this is 2 Timothy 3 verse 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous.
You can see that a lot, especially with these people out here. When something happens, like somebody's getting beat up, their first reaction is to take out their phone and you know, do a TikTok while turning to themselves, like doing like these, you know, like these gestures with their hand and going like what the hell is this? You know, a lot of these people, especially this generation, you know, they love to take selfies that usually end up resulting in their death. But yeah, continue.
They'll pretend they're concerned by talking to the camera, but they don't really get in there and help the person.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers.
Boasters, proud. You gotta go through it slowly. All right, covetous. You know, these people, for the love of money, they kill each other. You know, and not just that, they send it just like with the script. It's doing it again. I just leave it, man. We're just gonna last as long as the phone does. What was the other one? Blasphemers.
Boasters,
And what was the next one?
proud.
Oh, yeah, well, boasters first. Actually, no. You can actually continue.
Covetous,
Yeah, because a lot of you can see that a lot in these music as well. You know, not just the music, but the music is just like a brainwashing to our people. And now they do the same thing, flashing their dollar bills, you know, going around in their chariots, their vehicles, and just man, it's just hard to explain.
covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents.
It's going too quick, bro. Slower.
It's like it. Blasphemers, disobedient to parents.
That is very common, especially with our doctrine. All right, they call us, they call our apostles and elders, rapists, you know, child rapists, all these type of things. You know, and at the end of the day, that's blasphemy to Yahawashi, because he's real. You know, because starting with the apostles and elders on down, we're the true men of Yahawashi. And they're saying that to us. It's the same thing as them saying it to Yahawashi and to the Heavenly Father.
A lot of times directly to Yahawashi.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, and so on in the scriptures too.
You see what vocab. He's a pure definition of a blasphemer, and he's trying to get people on his side. You know, and usually people of this world, they will instantly get on his side.
Disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy.
Disobedient to parents. Shit, that's super common, especially in this generation. What was that? Unthankful and unholy?
Unthankful and unholy.
Yeah, just like what it says in Second Ezra. It says, in their life they receive benefits and had not known me. You know? And they don't give praises to Yahawashi Yahawashi. Nor do they, you know, they don't give praises to Yahawashi Yahawashi for anything. You know? For any kind of benefit they get in their life.
That's what's important, to give thanks, no matter what.
Yeah,
You know?
especially to your parents as well. You know, by the way your parents raised you, they will raise you good. You know, or you just being in the truth. Being in the truth, you give thanks to your apostles and elders, or you can give thanks to Yahawashi Yahawashi for bringing you into this truth, or anything like that. There's a lot of things you can give thanks for. That's why it's called Thanksgiving. That's the true Thanksgiving.
Without natural affection,
Without natural affection, you can see these people, man. Usually you're more. Damn, how do I say this? A lot of these people, they lack that natural affection, that pity for a younger brother or anything like that. Like a Jake will straight up shoot down a kid and not feel sorry about it, or shoot down someone younger than them. You know. Or someone that's younger than them so happens to bump into them and they want to get in a fight with them. Like, what is this? They don't go like, oh, I'm sorry, bro, it's my fault. I'm sorry. You know? They don't got that kind of humbleness.
Very few is dwindling quickly. You know,
Yeah.
especially with this shit about to hit with the family, that's gonna become zero.
Yeah.
In this time. It's gonna become even more easy.
truce breakers.
Truth breakers, shit.
That's
Man,
right.
a
People
lot
that can
of-
keep their word, you know.
Yeah, you can see it a lot with these wacky tacky Christians, man. They pray repentance and stuff like that. Very same thing they just prayed not to do. They just repented for it, you know? So this is shit. Continue.
False accusers. Incontinent.
False accusers, that's very common, especially with the truth. Because that's why the truth is evil spoken of.
You know what?
We are always being falsely accused.
Let me rewind on that. Truce breakers also means, like, if you make peace with your brother, even for the time being, you know, things could be happening, or for whatever, you know, whatever it may be, you know, and then all of a sudden you break that truth, all of a sudden you got this grudge against your brother anyway.
Seeking the debt from me. Not forgiving the debt.
You know, that's a truce break too. You know, just like war. You know, like this temporary war, and all of a sudden somebody break that truce again, and again there's a war because somebody just created more drama. Go on.
Incontinent.
I don't hear that word that much.
Interlinear, right?
No, you can get it on there.
I don't know how to spell it.
N-A-I-N. C. No, it's
I already got it.
self-restraint. Wanting self-restraint, not holding back, intemperate, immoderate. That, yeah. All right. No, it's fine. It's basically the same thing. It's basically people don't have that ability to hold back from their lusts, and lust can be anything, you know.
Well, let's see. You got it interlinear, right? Or do you have it tamale?
You have to interlinear.
What do you interlinear say? Sometimes they have.
Without self-control.
That's something.
Intemperate.
You can see that a lot of men are simpletons out here, you know. And it's not just lust for sexual desires. It could be lust for anything. but sexual desires is the top of the top. You know, men being servants of women for the very purpose of trying to get in their pants, you know, or anything of the sorts.
It could be food too. It could be because
The desire for food. Yeah,
you just want that pizza.
Oh, you want a snack.
That pizza tastes good.
You want a snack, but that snack it's so common. You want it every day, you know, or you want it every hour. They don't got that self-restraint. That's why a lot of these people,
especially on a full stomach.
Yeah, a lot of these fat people, they're gonna perish in these times to come, man. Because they can't refrain from eating. That's why one of our customs in this truth, one of our customs of just being an Israelite, you know, is fasting and praying.
There's a lot of jakes out there. They, you know, of course they heavy weights, to put it like that. And there's some that they're not as heavyweight, but they got this thing about, you know, they just want to eat something good all the time. You know, all the time they want to, or they get invited to a party, you know, because there's food. You know, they constantly want to eat something. They're always on the go. You know, that's like they can't even refrain themselves. You know,
especially when it comes to unlawful foods, they always got that urge to eat unlawful foods.
Right. It's like, let's say you on a food stomach, you ate, right? And then you see a commercial like McRib. Now Jake wants to go and get McRib. You're not even supposed to be eating pork anyway. But you know, that desire, you know.
That's one of the things that we practice while being in this truth. And it's easy. It's easier for us because we've been doing it for a very long time. But for people that just came into this truth and they just started refraining off of pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, or anything of the sorts,
they fall back on that.
You know, not just yet, but that they have that urge. There's some people that would easily give into that urge. Like, it's alright if I just eat it once or anything like that. Nah, you know, nah, you can't even do that. You gotta completely refrain from it. You know, and people don't got that temperance to refrain from things like that.
That's what's wrong with Jake. Also, I remember growing up with my cousin, and I remember one of them saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go do this." Saying, "Hey, you know, that's bad. You're not supposed to be doing that." I said, "That's all right. I just go to church and ask for forgiveness again." You know, and that's the mentality of Jake. And I'm speaking in general.
That's the
real truth right there. God bless y'all for that. That represents
Have a good one.
That's how you know wisdom isn't with them. They don't have that. They don't got that circumspect. They're not circumspect, right? And they don't watch their ways. Well, yeah, continue.
My tribe is Judah.
Fierce
And
despisers of those that are good. Traitors.
You know, despises. Read that part again.
Fierce despisers of those that are good.
Those that are good. That could be a lot of things. You know, the scriptures is good, but people, you know, Jake don't want to hear that. Jake don't want to hear what's good for them. Jake want to be comfortable in whatever he wants to do. You know. Go on.
Traitors. Heady. High-minded. Lovers of pleasures more than lovers of Yahweh.
Yeah,
that means a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a big thing. That's a big thing. You know, that's why especially when we have time to ourselves, people rather to go please themselves rather than you know, using that time for Yahawashi Yahawashi. You know, people don't want to give a time to the Heavenly Father or His Son,
especially on the Sabbath.
Especially on the Sabbath, but you're supposed to refrain from that.
We still on the Sabbath, you know?
Yeah.
And what Jake doing? Whatever. Jake heard the truth. You know, you two-thirds, you heard the truth too. You know, you heard it. You know, and you know that the Sabbath is getting mentioned. You'll pass around during the Sabbath. We can tell you it's a Sabbath, and you don't heed. You don't heed to the word.
Not just that. I'm gonna bring it up again, but there's certain men that say that you can have sex on the Sabbath, and you cannot. You cannot have sex on the Sabbath. It's just the fact that those people they rather please themselves than to please the Father. And on the Sabbath, you're supposed to, you know, refrain from doing things you want to do, like that, you know. And people don't have that type of temperance, especially people of this truth. All right, well, not of this truth, more like the people who know the truth. You know, they don't have that type of temperance. You know, and lying with a woman is just the same as working. Why? Because you're basically still a husbandman. You're a farmer, and you're putting your seed into a woman. She's the ground. You know, it's still working. But yeah.
Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who know the truth, but they deny the power of Yahawashi. You know, deny that Yahawashi did miracles. Deny that the purpose of Yahawashi is irrelevant. You know, and all of these things. Continue.
From such, turn away.
I mean, look at these Thuggalites. That's what the Ark calls them.
Oh my gosh, Thuggalites.
The
Yeah.
Thuggalites. The ones. Because the Ark posted a video of Thuggalites, you know, holding fucking automatic shotguns and assault rifles.
Elder Manata Zakpa.
Yeah. Not just the Elder. It's another Ark game that I watched.
Oh, that's the one I saw. I saw the thumbnail. I didn't get to see the video. But I saw the Thuggalites.
They had the shirt. Sakari, man.
It's Sakari.
Sakari's way off, man. It's the same spirit from back then.
It's the
Like,
same
how
exact
you
spirit.
how you gonna mix in the Lord with the thugs? Like,
It's their mentality with the guns and stuff like that. Because Yahawashi, he did not come about in promoting the fact of going off to go fight. You know, he didn't promote that fact.
no, because in the
Let me finish real quick. Yahawashi, he say anybody who slays with the sword shall be slain with the sword. That's because right when I think it was Paul, if I remember correctly, he smote off one of those I forgot who it was. One of their ears, right? Yeah. Oh, Peter. Yeah. That's right. He smote off his ear, and Yahawashi pulled away the sword. For he said, anyone who slays with the sword shall be slain with the sword. Roughly paraphrasing. You know, I don't understand these men, man. I don't understand. But anyways, that's the mentality of this world. So we're gonna get back on topic real quick. But that's the mentality of this world. I don't know. I don't understand why people who want that type of all the things that was mentioned in Timothy. I don't know why people would want that. Why will people want to be associated with a world that is you know, high-minded and blasphemers and liars and, you know, killers, all of that. We don't. I'm gonna say we now because we brothers of the truth. We don't understand why these people want to be associated with that. Not just the people of the world, but these other false doctrines. They don't examine themselves to find the correct path because they think to themselves that they're in the right path.
In their mind, they think it's freedom. They have the freedom to do this, they got the freedom that. Guess what? Freedom also has responsibility, because if it's just straight freedom, freedom in itself is chaos. You have to have responsibility. You know? Now, let's say it's just freedom all the time. That means you drive a car, you might as well crash it on someone or kill somebody if you will.
I know exactly what you mean. How can somebody? Because freedom is unlawful. You know, it's something without rules, without laws. All right. But the law, statutes, commandments that they last forever. And not just that, you got laws for every single thing that happens in your life. You know.
That's the laws of. That's actually The scriptures is life. It tells you how to live. It tells you, because if you just live on just freedom by self, you know, you basically have no boundaries. Basically, you have no
undisciplined.
You're
undisciplined.
You're just undisciplined.
Undisciplined. That's unlawful. You know, these people they don't got laws. That's why they hated Yahawashi, because before Yahawashi came, they had that freedom, they had that liberty. You know, but until Yahawashi came about, he re-brought in the laws. He re-brought it in. You know, and consequences for not following those laws. That's one of the reasons why they hated Yahawashi, because since Yahawashi didn't come, once again, since Yahawashi wasn't there, they had that quote liberty. But since they appeared, now they understand the consequences of that said liberty. That's why we men of the street, we desire discipline. We desire to stay in the discipline of Yahawashi, because we understand the benefits, the fruits of it. Just as Jacob understood that the promises, the birthright, had way more fruit than what Esau, than what Esau thought it had. You know? What was that?
21%.
21%. Try to plug it in. Remember to try to block it.
Did it like 3 times and it kept saying the same thing. I mean, it would charge like a little. No, never mind. Since your phone's temperature is too high, charging will continue.
So
it's hard to take it off.
anyways, yeah. So just as Jacob understood the fruits from that promise, but Esau couldn't understand it, right? So we men of the street, we understand that the law, statutes, and commandments. So once again, we are not under the law, we are under Yahawashi. But with Yahawashi comes the law. So the law is still there to prove our faith through our works. So just wanted to put that out there. But
basically the grace.
Yeah. So through the laws, how do I say this? I can't even think. All right, let's get yeah, Isaiah. You guys, somebody was holding it. All right. So with all of this, desiring the discipline and the nurturing of Yahawashi Yahawashi in the midst of people who think that there's liberty, that's another way of proving our faith, proving our faith through our works. So these people, they have the mentality that there's freedom. They can eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster and think that there's not going to be any judgment for it. They think they can shave their face, they can mar the edges of their beard, and think that there's no judgment for it.
Even idle words. Even idle words.
Even idle words. You know. So when we're in the midst of them, we chose to suffer. We chose to suffer than to have quote freedom. Just as Moses, once again, to have the pleasures of sin for a season. You know, we rather suffer with the people of Yahawashi Yahawashi as the men of old, and to be in the law, statutes, and commandments and follow it to the best of our ability to show our faith towards Yahawashi Yahawashi, because we understand that this kingdom, which think they have liberty, is going to be destroyed. So suffering as the men of old did, through our faith, we believe that through our works we can enter in onto that grace that the men of old believe they can enter onto, and they do, because we believe also in reincarnation. You know, because those men of old are back again, in the same mentality they had before is back again. If you understand what I mean.
This is Job 20:4. Knowing thou, this one came to see. Job 20:4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphant of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite is but a moment? Yeah, it's for the moment.
And there's also another precept where it says, because what was it? I'm not sure if it's an apocrypha, but it talks about how since basically the judgment of sin, since it wasn't cast speedily, you know, so are all the sons of all the sons of men hearts are set to do evil. Roughly paraphrasing, something like that.
That goes with another scripture, you know, roughly paraphrasing, you know, because these wicked, they think that, you know, that the Lord tarried, you know, and you know what? Yahawashi is letting your evils to grow, so you can just throw it down pretty much.
Yeah,
You know?
to you know, to reward them and how they you know work.
Right. And you know, he had left, and again, we're going back to that. That's why he left so many examples. And that he's letting Babylon grow to a certain point.
Just as he let Sodom and Gomorrah grow to a certain point,
Yes.
so they could be a memorial.
Right. Just like letting the weeds grow for the day of the harvest.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Pretty
true.
much. You know, so when the Grim Reaper comes, and the original Grim Reaper is Yahawashi. You know, because the issues of death belongs to Yahawashi.
Yeah, you want to read Isaiah?
This is Isaiah. Okay, this is Isaiah 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
So those strangers that it's talking about there is referring to these other heathens. You know, these heathens out here are going to be servants and handmaids. You know, if they're going to be what?
Phones are 50%.
No, the strangers that is talking about in Isaiah. The strangers there are going to be used to build up our walls. Yeah, it was Isaiah. For servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives. Captives they were. Bro, this whole English confused the fuck out of me. Are you sure?
Strangers.
Because you know I get confused as well.
The strangers.
You know what? Are you sure? The people shall take them. Because it's like confusing because for the strangers of the Israelite foreigners in the other nations that's going to be okay, I see what you mean. And the people shall take them, just talking about the captives. I mean, I see what you mean. I just get confused as well. So it sucks because Slack. Yeah. It says in the people. Oh yeah, Slack.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, those who captives they were.
Whose? Wait, what? Those? Whose? They shall take them captives whose captives they were.
Yeah, I said that.
You just said those.
I said whose captives they
Yeah,
were.
just continue. Just continue.
And they shall rule over the oppressors.
Yeah, just like what Yahawashi says in Revelation. I think it was
Your phone's on 11%, by the way.
Alright.
Going on really quickly.
Yep. Revelation.
Okay. It's a stranger. Okay, in Spanish means extranjero. We translate that in English pretty much means tourist. Just people are like, but you know, I don't wanna over it after.
Did you get that precept? Oh, never mind. I found it. Yeah, it's Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So I just wanted to, you know, put that precept with it, because you know, because Esau's going to be our slaves in the kingdom. And I see what you mean. It was just a, you know. Yeah, I know what you mean. That was my fault. That was my fault.
No, at least you know, at least I got acknowledged.
Yeah, it happens. Let me repeat that again. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them in their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives who captives they were, and shall rule over the oppressors. And Esau took us into captivity, and just as the law of Yahweh Hashem Yahawashi, eye for an eye, that's how it is. Two for two. And Esau led us to captivity. And we build up his cities and his world, his kingdom. He's gonna build up our kingdom, and all these other heathens that will join heirs with him.
It's funny how this whole thing, it was been through the whole thing, whole path, which is good. Because we also, not just prove, we also got to prove ourselves. You know, it's true. You know, practice what you preach.
Continue.
And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve.
And we're still in bondage, even to this moment. You know, we're not in hardcore physical bondage, but now we're in hardcore mental bondage. You know, with these higher up banking families on down. These Edomites, they have you in a mental slave state. You know, and especially you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. You know, you guys don't even know who you truly are. Yet you want to be like Esau. You know, you want to look towards your brother with an evil eye. But when Esau comes about, you want to tuck your shirt in, if you know what I mean, and you know, and go like, hello, sir. You know, being all polite and shit, like that's the slave mentality. You know.
And they every time the truth get pushed out there, you know, they know they heard, they know what they heard, but we just a spectacle to them.
Yeah.
You know.
So Yahweh Hashem Yahawashi, that's why he said he would yet choose Israel, and he's gonna choose the 1/3 of Israel, starting with 144,000. All right, and we're gonna have dominion over these nations, over these heathens. And since they put us into hardcore bondage, we're going to put them in hardcore bondage under righteousness. It isn't going to be like how they treated us, you know? Like they you know, rape, rob, and murder. It ain't going to be like that, all right? It's going to be all dealt in righteousness. And it's going to be hell for these people. Why? Because this is their kingdom right now. And their practices are everything that is adverse to the Heavenly Father.
Very contrary.
All right, that's their teachings. But in the kingdom, it's going to be in righteousness, and it's going to be hell for them. It's heaven right now for them. It's going to be hell in the kingdom for them. All right, and it's going to be here on earth. All right, and you're going, and there's no way you're going to escape. There's no way there's going to be any runners as well. You know, running away from slavery. Nah. You know, you can kiss that goodbye. Why? Because Yahawashi, you know, it's going to have influence everywhere. You know, you can, you know, try to kill yourself. Not even death can escape from your bondage.
You know what? Even
not even in death.
The overseer in that kingdom is gonna be in check. You know?
5%.
Yeah.
Try to plug it in again. Damn, man.
I got more scriptures.
Yeah, you can do it.
All right, this Revelations from KDC. Revelations 2:25. But that which you already hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him I will give power over the nations.
And that's it. It says the just shall live by his faith.
Okay, that reminds me of the talent scriptures.
You got Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3 as well. You know, that we shall shine to and fro like we shall shine to and fro like sparks among the stubble.
Right.
And into them shall he make dominion over all the people and stuff like that. You know, roughly paraphrasing. But I like that precept.
Revelation 2:27, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I receive of my Father.
Man, yeah.
Two-thirds embrace it.
Yeah, they got.
Yeah. Two-thirds is going to embrace Yahawashi, regardless. You know.
That's what it says. You got it that in Psalms. I think it's 144. I'm not entirely sure, but it talks about thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. You know, roughly paraphrasing.
I like this one too. This Proverbs 29:27. An unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is
What's the
upright
percentage?
in the way.
Still 5.
Where was it? I'll read it again. Proverbs 29:27. An unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. Fine.
Yeah.
So like right now, we put, you know, to the spirit of Yahawashi, we pushing this truth out, and you know, to Jake, we just a nuisance.
That's why
You know.
once again,
You
this
know?
is this. Since the foundation of the whole entire world, the entire earth, you know, it has been leading up to this moment. You know, for the very purpose that the wicked shall be in rulership. You know, so that in the midst of the wicked kingdom, just as Lot was in the midst of Sodom and Gomorrah, he was seen righteous in the eyes of Yahawashi, because he refrained and saw it as disgusting of the ways of that were the practices of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's the same thing even now. The practice and everything like that, the 144,000 and 1/3, we refrain from that. The one that were part of that number, we refrain from the practices and the customs of these people out here. And yes, it's pretty much like that. Yeah. We're even in the shade and it's still heating up. But yeah. Oh, it's like you got much?
No, I'm just gonna read Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear it rule, the people mourn. In Psalms 110:3, thy people shall be willing in the day.
It's 110. Okay.
Psalms 110:3, thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of holiness, from the womb of the morning. Thou hast the dew of thy youth.
Charging stop.
We're gonna have to close up. All right, so just to read a little bit more of Isaiah. Yo, read a little bit more of Isaiah, and then we'll close up.
Isaiah 14:4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased.
Yeah, in the new king of Babylon, it's Esau. All right. How do we know that this is not talking about the old ancient Babylon? This is talking about when Yahawashi is going to put all these other heathens into captivity, and that Babylon is going to be absolutely obliterated from off the face of the earth. And Babylon isn't obliterated right now. All right. This is a future prophecy referring to this kingdom. This is referring to the daughter of Babylon. All right, and the king is referring to the ruler of Babylon. All right, which is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Continue.
Verse 5. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, and he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing.
Yeah, you can just stop right there. But that's a good precept that the brother got. You know, saying when the wicked is in rule, the earth mourns, but when the righteous is in rulership, the earth rejoices. You know, and that's how the whole earth is going to rest. It says that even the creatures are earnestly waiting for the manifestations of the children of Yahawashi. What is it? 2%. Yeah. So we're gonna close up. Kind of because wish we can go longer, man. But ultimately, it's the spirit of Yahawashi. He's making it go dead ultimately. But yeah. So Lord willing, that we're gonna continue this. You know, on Wednesday, if the Lord wills. So Machu Wapan Yahakuran.
We actually get out here like actually the same time we always do.
Machu Wapan Yahakuran. Yeah. Alright.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakadash.
Alright, I want to once again give double honors about the elders of Great Millstone and Shalom to you sincere brothers out there teaching the truth and sincerity. The one line that this Kansas session was edifying unto your brothers. You know, I'm gonna leave it off with the Shema prayer, and exhorting. I'm gonna leave it off with the Shema prayer. So Shema Yasharallah, Yahweh Allah Hayanawa, Yahweh Achad, Abba. Oh snap!
Adbad.
Yeah, you guys are late. What is this? Alright, Shalom.
I was trying to highlight this.